The world of literature, film, and artistic expression has lost one of its most powerful and courageous voices. Marjane Satrapi, the Iranian-French author, illustrator, and filmmaker best known for her groundbreaking memoir Persepolis, has passed away at the age of 56. Her death came as a shock to fans around the world, many of whom had grown up reading her books, watching her films, and finding comfort in the way her words and drawings could make even the most painful experiences of exile, identity, and displacement feel a little less lonely. There was no long goodbye, no final interview, no dramatic farewell tour. Just the quiet, devastating realization that the woman who gave us one of the most important stories of the 20th and 21st centuries is no longer with us. Marjane Satrapi was born in 1969 in Tehran, Iran, and from the very beginning, her life was shaped by the political upheaval that would soon tear her country apart. She grew up during the Iranian Revolution, during the rise of the Islamic regime, and during the years when her family had to make the difficult decision to send her away to Europe to escape the growing dangers of living under a repressive government. She was sent to Vienna at the age of 11, alone, without her parents, and without the kind of support system that most children need to feel safe. That experience of exile, of leaving home at such a young age, of having to navigate a new culture without the protection of her family, became the foundation of her story, and it became the story that she would tell in Persepolis. Persepolis was not just a book. It was a revolution in the world of storytelling. It was a memoir told in black and white illustrations, a story that combined the personal with the political, the intimate with the universal, and the tragic with the hopeful. It told the story of Marjane's childhood in Iran, her family's struggle to survive under the new regime, her departure from home, and her journey to finding a new life in Europe. It was a story that many people had never heard before, a story that many people had never been allowed to tell, and a story that changed the way people thought about the Iranian Revolution, about exile, and about the cost of living under a government that did not respect the rights of its citizens. The book was published in 2000, and it quickly became a global phenomenon, winning awards, being translated into dozens of languages, and being read by millions of people around the world. In 2007, Marjane Satrapi brought Persepolis to the screen, co-directing an animated film that would win the César Award for Best First Film and the Audience Award at the Sundance Film Festival. The film was not just an adaptation of the book. It was a reimagining, a reinterpretation, and a new way of telling the story that resonated with audiences who had never read the book and with audiences who had never thought about Iran before. It was a film that made people feel, that made people think, and that made people understand the human cost of political upheaval. It was a film that would go on to be studied in universities, shown in film festivals, and celebrated as one of the most important animated films of the 21st century. Throughout her career, Marjane Satrapi continued to tell stories that were personal, political, and deeply human. She wrote Blindfold, a novel about a group of young women in Iran who challenged the rules of the Islamic regime. She wrote Scritti, a collection of essays and drawings that explored the intersection of art, politics, and identity. She directed Habibi, or A Love Story, a film that told the story of an Iranian-American couple struggling to find love in a world that did not want them together. She was not just an author, she was a storyteller, and every story she told a story of love, of loss, of hope, and of the kind of emotions that everyone can relate to. That's why her work has endured for so long, and that's why it will continue to endure for generations to come. The exact cause of Marjane Satrapi's death has not been publicly disclosed, and for now, that detail remains respectfully private, shielded by her family and the people closest to her. What we do know is that she passed away at the age of 56, after a life that was filled with art, with words, and with the kind of impact that only a few artists ever achieve. The literary and film industry has been flooded with tributes from fellow authors, from filmmakers, from fans, and from people who grew up reading her books and finding comfort in her words. Some have shared stories of the first time they read Persepolis. Others have talked about the way the film made them feel when they first saw it. and still others have simply written that her voice was the soundtrack to their lives. Those stories are not just about books or films. They're about the way Marjane Satrapi made people feel, the way she made them believe in themselves, and the way she made them feel less alone. For fans, Marjane's legacy will live on in the stories that defined a generation, in the films that still bring people to tears, in the quiet moments when they read her books or watch her films and feel like they're being hugged by a voice that has been there for them through everything. She was not just an author. She was a companion, a friend, and a source of comfort for millions of people around the world. She made exile feel real, made identity feel possible, and made hope feel within reach. That's the kind of legacy that can't be taken away by death, no matter how painful it may be. Her voice will continue to echo through the decades, through the books, through the films, and through the hearts of everyone who ever found themselves in her story. If you've ever been moved by Marjane Satrapi's work, if you've ever found yourself in Persepolis, or if you've ever been touched by the way her stories made you feel, take a moment to honor her memory. Please like this video, and if you enjoy stories about the lives, legacies, and losses of the artists who shape our literature and film, consider subscribing to this channel. Together, we can keep remembering the voices that taught us how to see the world, one story at a time.